Hello and welcome to Firstpost Africa, where we get you the top stories from the continent and from across the world. I'm Alison Lagrange, coming to you live from Durban, South Africa. First, let's take a look at the headlines. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi holds bilateral talks with his Israeli counterpart, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. The two countries exchange agreements on agriculture, geoscience, and culture. Iran and the US hold a third round of indirect nuclear talks in Geneva. US President Donald Trump has threatened to strike Tehran if a nuclear deal is not reached. Russia hands over the remains of 1,000 Ukrainian soldiers to Kiev, with Ukraine returning the bodies of 35 Russians in exchange. This comes ahead of Ukraine-US talks in Geneva. South Korea and the UAE sign a $35 billion defense cooperation agreement. The deal will cover air, naval, and missile programs. And two separate terrorist attacks in northeastern Nigeria's Adamawa state kill at least 25 people. Residents blame the attacks on Boko Haram. Hello and welcome. We begin in the Sahel, where the lines of global influence are being redrawn in real time. Ibrahim Traore has officially pivoted east for security, but he's keeping a door open to the west for his country's health. Burkina Faso signed a major public health agreement with the United States. The memorandum focuses exclusively on disease prevention and regional health security. Now, according to the U.S. Department of State, the agreement aims to improve Burkina Faso's ability to prevent, detect, and respond to infectious diseases, including HIV/AIDS, malaria, and future outbreaks. The framework runs for 5 years. Under the deal, the United States intends to provide up to $147 million. In parallel, Burkina Faso has committed to increasing its own domestic health spending by approximately $107 million. By the end of the agreement, US-funded laboratories and health officials are expected to be fully integrated into the Burkinabe system. Now, the deal allocates around $12 million specifically toward broader global health security initiatives. That includes strengthening clinics and laboratory systems in Burkina Faso. The agreement also supports Traore's presidential health initiative, which includes plans to build 55 new medical centers. For the Trump administration, the deal falls under its America First global health strategy, which aims to contain outbreaks before they spread globally and eventually reach the United States.
This MOU reinforces regional health security in the Sahel while advancing Burkina Faso's capacity to independently manage infectious disease threats before they reach our shores.
The agreement comes after several years of strained relations between Ouagadougou and Washington. Tensions began in 2022 when the United States suspended military assistance following the coup that brought Traore to power. In 2023, Burkina Faso lost its preferential trade access under the African Growth and Opportunity Act, the AGOA Act. In 2025, relations deteriorated further. In April of 2025, the head of US Africa Command publicly accused Traore of corruption and facilitating foreign influence. And later in October, the United States suspended visa services for Burkinabe citizens. Now, both sides are re-engaging, but carefully. So, what explains this shift? Analysts describe it as strategic compartmentalization. While Traore has adopted a sovereign foreign policy stance, his government appears to be separating security, infrastructure, and health into distinct tracks. For security cooperation, Burkina Faso has strengthened ties with Russia and Turkey. For infrastructure development, it continues engagement with China, and in public health, it is now maintaining structured cooperation with the United States. For now, the message from Ibrahim Traore is measured but clear. Burkina Faso may have shifted its security alliances, but it has not closed every channel to the west. What happens next will determine if the sector-by-sector balancing act holds, or if the rivalry between the East and the West will force them to pick a side once and for all. While Burkina Faso has struck a health deal with the US, some African nations are pushing back against it. One of them is Zimbabwe. It has pulled out of health aid talks with Washington, calling the deal lopsided. Zimbabwe has raised concerns over sharing sensitive health data with the US. The African nation said that Washington's offer of financial support came with too many strings attached. For Zimbabwe, the deal was an unequal exchange.
At its core, the arrangement was asymmetrical. Zimbabwe was being asked to share its biological resources and data over an extended period, with no corresponding guarantee of access to any medical innovations, such as vaccines, diagnostics, or treatments that might result from that shared data.
The US said that it regretted Zimbabwe's decision. Washington said the health deal would have provided the African nation more than $360 million over 5 years, but now it stands stalled.
We believe this collaboration would have delivered extraordinary benefits for Zimbabwean communities, especially the 1.2 million men, women and children currently receiving HIV treatment through US-supported programs. We will now turn to the difficult and regrettable task of winding down our health assistance in Zimbabwe.
Zimbabwe has said that the decision to end US health aid talks does not reflect anti-American sentiment. The African nation has made it clear that it is seeking partnerships based on equality rather than patronage. Now, at the same time, Zimbabwe has also banned exports of raw minerals and lithium concentrate. It is a part of its push to tighten control over its strategic minerals that global powers are vigorously competing for. Now, coming back to the US health aid that Zimbabwe has rejected, other African nations have also raised concerns over similar offers from Washington. For instance, Zambia has pushed back on part of a US health aid deal worth over $1 billion. The government said that the deal does not align with Zambia's interests. Health advocates have also warned that the deal poses data-sharing risks, and in return for the aid, the US wanted access to Zambia's minerals. Zambia is Africa's second-largest copper producer after the Democratic Republic of Congo. It also has cobalt, nickel, manganese, graphite, lithium, and rare earth elements. Now, amid the allegations, the US State Department has said that the deal had no relation to minerals or mining. Last year, Kenya also suspended an over $1.6 billion deal with the US. A case was filed against the deal over similar data-sharing concerns. Now, these health aid agreements are a part of Trump's America First agenda. Since his return to the White House last year, Trump has pulled the plug on US aid, slashing billions of dollars in global health funding. In place of that, the US began pursuing one-on-one health agreements with countries. Washington has made it clear that under Trump 2.0, foreign assistance will not be treated as charity. Until now, around 16 African nations have signed health aid deals with the US. These include Nigeria and Uganda. But opposition from countries like Zimbabwe, Zambia, and Kenya reflects how some of these African nations are speaking up to guard their sovereignty. Their message is clear. Africa is seeking partnerships based on transparency, equality, and mutual respect. And moving on to the Horn of Africa, Somalia is seeking to ramp up its defenses. The country is grappling with Al-Shabaab terror threat and tensions over its breakaway region of Somaliland. According to media reports, Somalia is in talks with Pakistan to buy 24 JF-17 fighter jets. Talks gain momentum after Somali Air Force Commander Mohammed Sheikh Ali had reportedly visited Islamabad earlier this month. The potential deal could be worth nearly $900 million. The JF-17 Thunder Block 3 fighter jet is a single-engine, lightweight combat jet developed jointly by Pakistan and its ally China. For cash-strapped Pakistan, the JF-17 Thunder fighter jet is a tool of defense diplomacy. Islamabad offers the JF-17 jets as a cost-effective option as compared to Western jets. Now, back in 2021, Nigeria inducted 3 JF-17 jets into their air force. Somalia's potential deal with Pakistan could mark Mogadishu's largest defense investment in decades. The timing is crucial as well. Israel's decision to recognize Somaliland has raised tensions in the region. Somalia slammed Netanyahu's move, calling it a threat to regional peace and security.
I once again state clearly that Somalia is an independent, single country whose territory cannot be divided or split by one Israeli letter signed by Netanyahu, a wanted fugitive.
Recently, Somaliland has appointed its first ambassador to Israel. Israel is also expected to appoint its own ambassador to the breakaway region soon. Since Israel recognized Somaliland, Somalia has moved closer to Pakistan's ally Saudi Arabia. Meanwhile, Mogadishu has cancelled all deals with Abu Dhabi. The UAE has deep economic and defense ties with Somaliland. The breakaway region of Somaliland has drawn global attention because of its strategic location. It sits along the juncture of the Indian Ocean and the Red Sea. Its Berbera port gives access to some of the world's busiest shipping lanes. Somaliland has been seeking international recognition since 1991, but Somalia considers it to be a part of its own territory. Now, apart from the Somaliland row, Somalia is also struggling to counter al-Qaeda-linked al-Shabaab terrorists. Under Trump 2.0, the US has dramatically escalated strikes targeting al-Shabaab members and facilities in Somalia. The terror threat is exemplified because of Somalia's low military strength. Now, currently, Somalia has one of the world's weakest militaries. On the Global Firepower's 2026 Military Strength Index, the country is ranked 137th out of 145 countries. In a nutshell, Somalia is facing immense domestic and international pressure to ramp up its defenses. Now, it remains to be seen how Somalia reshapes its defense strategy to counter the pressure and to resolve its security crisis. Ghana, Africa's largest gold producer, says it is done watching billions of dollars worth of gold slip out of the country. For years, officials say large amounts of small-scale mined gold have been smuggled abroad. Now, Accra is launching a major plan to bring that gold back under state control and use it to strengthen the economy. The scale of the loss is significant. According to reports, officials say between 2019 and 2023, more than 229 metric tons of gold simply went missing. Now, to put that into perspective, that's $11.4 billion worth of wealth siphoned out of the country. Now, most of it reportedly came from small-scale mining operations. While some are licensed, many operate illegally, feeding smuggling networks and causing environmental damage. Now, much of that gold reportedly ended up in the United Arab Emirates, particularly Dubai, often moving through neighboring countries such as Togo, Burkina Faso and Mali before reaching the global markets. But Ghana is now closing the gate. The government's response is a new state-backed entity called Goldbod. Starting next month, Goldbod will be required to buy at least 2.45 tons of gold every week from small-scale miners. That's roughly 127 metric tons a year being redirected from the black market into official government hands. That gold will be sent through an official government system with the goal of bringing $20 billion into the country every year. Now, under the new framework, Goldbod will purchase the gold, negotiate sales, manage price risks, and hold several weeks of supply. All foreign exchange earned from these exports will be sold directly to the Bank of Ghana at an agreed rate. In simple terms, the dollars stay inside Ghana and move straight into national reserves. To discourage smuggling, the government says that Goldbod may offer competitive world prices and bonus payments to licensed miners. Officials argue that this will reduce the incentive to sell to illicit buyers and to increase foreign currency inflows.
To disincentivize smuggling, Goldbod may employ price incentives through spot world market price purchases and bonuses for licensed miners. Goldbod will give us better control over our gold exports and help shore up our foreign exchange reserves. It is part of our strategy to reduce pressure on the Ghanaian cedi and to prioritize job creation over short-term revenue.
Gold is Ghana's economic backbone. It generates more than half of the country's total export revenue. At the same time, the central bank has reduced its gold holdings in recent months. As global prices climbed, Ghana sold 51% of the gold reserve, which amounts to nearly 18.6 tons. Officials say that the strategy is to take advantage of high prices now while strengthening foreign currency reserves. Against that backdrop, the government is now tightening control over small-scale gold production. After Ghana lost an estimated $11.4 billion of mineral wealth in 5 years, Accra wants more of that revenue flowing through official channels. If the plan succeeds, small-scale mining could shift from being a source of losses to a steady stream of foreign exchange. And that's it on the show for today. We will see you again tomorrow at the same time. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.